Today's MMA news, ladies and gentlemen, we just got done with UFC Fight Night, Usman versus Buckley, and I have to say, send 3 years to Dagestan and forget, brother. Joaquin Buckley needs to leave wherever he's at currently and go across a few oceans and seas and deserts and end up in Dagestan somehow. I don't care how he travels there, by boat, by car, by airplane. I don't know. Go to Dagestan 3 years and forget, brother. Because the welterweight division is wrestlers and grapplers. I'm going to say it right now. We go to UFC rankings really quickly. The champion, Jack Della Maddalena, is one of the only guys that is a striker in this welterweight division. We can go down. Leon Edwards, kind of. Ian Gary is kind of. But he really likes to wrestle and grapple in a lot of his fights. He did that with Michael Venom Page. He's done it in other fights before. Michael Morales is a very, very good wrestler from Ecuador. He's kind of transferred into striking. But other than that, Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Sean Brady, Bilal Muhammad, the top 3 guys, and 4 out of the top 5 are these wrestlers and grapplers that Usman is not going to be able to get past if he doesn't go 3 years to Dagestan and forget, brother. What are you doing? We thought because you got past Colby Covington that maybe you would win against Usman. You defend against Covington, you can defend against Usman, right? Right? Turns out Colby's wrestling is not on Usman's level. And Buckley did the exact same stuff he did against Colby to Usman to defend the takedowns. Just Usman was better. Usman was better. Buckley didn't improve his wrestling defense. He just kept with what worked in the Colby fight. And what worked in the Colby fight worked because Colby's pretty slow. Colby is pretty slow going in for those takedowns, and he's not as strong. He can get to the shots like Usman can get to some of these shots. Colby can't finish because he's not as strong. He's a little bit of a smaller guy for this welterweight division than Usman is. So I again say, Buckley versus Jack Della Maddalena is such a fun fight. I need that injected in my veins. The only way that can happen is if Buckley gets past these wrestlers and grapplers in the UFC welterweight division. So send 3 years Dagestan, forget, brother. I digress. That was the main event of MMA news. Rose Namajunas, Miranda Maverick, back and forth, 29-28. Pretty close fight. Miranda had that arm triangle sunk in. Rose had some good takedowns and wrestling and had some good striking as well. Miranda, striking was okay. But Miranda did say, I'm thinking it's on the Bird MMA too, torn ACL, unfortunately, for Miranda Maverick in round number 2. So it was, by most accounts, 1-1 heading into the third round. She was heading into the third round, she says, with a torn ACL. So that is kind of unfortunate. Edmund Shabazian basically defends everything from Andre Petroski. Outstrikes him for 3 rounds. Ione loses round 1. Cody looks amazing in round 1. Ione hurts Cody in round 2, and then beats him in round 3. 29-28. Cody looks so good in round 1 and just, he lost all of his aura after he went back to his corner. I feel bad. Mansour Abdulmal, it was a weird one. They were very hesitant in round 1, round 2. I thought Mansour won round 1, round 2, but Cody was hesitant. Mansour was hesitant. They were exploding at times to throw some big shots, but for the most part, just looking at each other. Round 3, they go out like somebody paid them $1 million to kill the other man, and they went crazy at each other, and, well, you know what happened. Mansour Abdulmalik rocks him, hurts him, lands a good knee, and then they allegedly headbutt, and Mansour lands some more ground and pound, gets a TKO, or so we thought. And the judges and the refs and everyone look at the review, and they're like, we think the finish was caused by the headbutt. That's the only way, that's the only reason Mansour got the finish, so no contest. Wait. It's a little bit late in the fight. We can't really do a no contest. It's already been 2 rounds. Let's just judge them on what has happened so far. So round 1, round 2, and 30 seconds of round 3. They judged that. I believe it was 29-28, 30-27, 30-27, whatever. Mansour won the fight. But such a weird one. And hurt everybody on the betting because I guarantee you, the odds for Mansour by knockout was minus like 300. I bet you plenty of people parlayed Mansour by knockout and got screwed that they changed that into a technical decision. For sure. For sure. So, sucks for Mansour that he didn't get the knockout because he could have got a performance bonus. You never know. Yeah, sucks. Then we got Umar Sai Alonso, very tentative as well. Neither guy was really doing a lot. Umar landed a takedown or two. Control, didn't really do much with it. And Alonso outstruck him on the feet. Simple as that. Then we go on to the craziest MMA news of the entire freaking card. Like, I could care less about Malcolm being the new thing in the bantamweight division. Jose Ochoa just looking like an absolute dog. I don't care. Paul Craig, Rodolfo Balao. What is happening? 1 second left in round number 1. Rodolfo puts his knee down to land a ground pound shot. Paul whacks him in the chin. And Rodolfo looks at the ref after he got whacked and is like, what? Up kick. What? And then he's like, wait. I could maybe get a disqualification. And he legitimately thinks to himself, huh. So he's like, what? Ugh. And he literally fakes like he just got knocked out. And goes like that, eyes closed, and pretends like he's out cold. After getting hit, looking at the ref and going, oh wait, I could get a disqualification. The dude faked it as clear as can be. Rodolfo Belanto faked that bad. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if Aljamain Sterling has his own acting class. Rodolfo somehow has moved to New Jersey without his coach's knowledge and has been training with Aljo. What are we doing? I digress. Michael Chiesa, Court McGee. I will literally say this right now. I don't even remember. It was not a good fight. It was not a good fight in my opinion. I'm not even going to go over that. Not a good fight. We move on. Malcolm Wellmaker, Chris Moutinho. Malcolm landing good kicks at range, hooking and moving, and eventually, boom, does the same thing over and over and over again, but finds his range perfectly right on the chin of Chris Moutinho. Chris face plants to the floor and starts seizing out. I'm just kidding, he probably didn't seize out, but he got knocked out worse than he did by Guido Ganetti. He got knocked out worse than he did, obviously, by Sean O'Malley. Does that mean Malcolm Wellmaker is a better striker than Sean O'Malley? I legitimately will say this right now. And everybody don't go crazy with me. Because, you know, everybody did the same thing with Peyton Talbot. I think it would be a very, very close fight with Sean O'Malley and Malcolm Wellmaker. I think it would be a very, very close fight. I would lean Sean O'Malley. 48-47, 48-47, 49-46. But I think it's a very, very close fight. And I think Malcolm Wellmaker, if he doesn't have to get the big tests and things like that, if he can just catapult to a Sean O'Malley fight, he can make it competitive right now. Will he win? Probably not. I don't think so. But will he make it competitive? I believe so. Again, Peyton had to go through a Raoni Barcelos, who we saw is very legit. Malcolm, if he has to do the same thing, you know, maybe that'll happen to him and he'll lose because he'll get out-grappled and he'll get exposed for some hole in his game. But Sean O'Malley's not the type of guy to expose that type of hole. He's got his style. He's going to stick to that style. But yeah, great prospect there in Malcolm Wellmaker. Jose Ochoa also. And not to mention, Lawner Kavanagh. How good is Lawner Kavanagh? Lawner beat Jose Ochoa in his debut. Then he beat Felipe Dos Santos. That's 2 back-to-back clear, nice, solid wins. Now he's fighting Charles Johnson. If he wins that, he's in the rankings. And if he beats Charles Johnson and Jose Ochoa wins his next fight, I think Jose deserves a shot in the rankings as well, because his only loss would be against a ranked caliber guy in Lawner Kavanagh. Lawner's able to get past Charles Johnson. So, I mean, this is a legit dude. It's a legit dude. Oh, he lost his debut, 0-1, to a absolute beast of an up-and-comer in Lawner Kavanagh. Then he went out there and manhandled Cody Durden. He didn't, because that's a wrestling term, but you get what I mean. Destroyed him. Round 1, little dicey. Round 2, comes out there, Cody smiling. They come forward, and Jose batters him with punches. Same punch twice. Same left hand twice. First one hurts him right down the middle. I think it was a different one. I think it was down the middle and then a hook. So maybe not the same punch, but amazing performance from Jose Ochoa. Ricky Simón, Cameron Smotherman, boring. A lot of clinching, a lot of holding. Not a lot of power shots from Ricky Simón. Some good power shots from Cameron Smotherman, but for the most part, there's a lot of lulls in the fight. There's a few moments where I was like, oh, okay. And then it was gone for a little bit. And then it was gone for a little bit. It was one of those fights where, I could watch for 3 minutes and not see anything. I look down and hear something. And I look back and it's over. And then now I got nothing. If that makes sense. It was one of those fights. I don't think it was very good. Ricky Simón won it. He's legit. He's right outside of the top 15. I like him versus Patchy Mix next. If Patchy wins that one, he deserves a shot inside of the rankings. But the bottom, not freaking top 10 in his debut. It's kind of crazy. Ricky wins against Patchy Mix. Obviously, he will deserve another shot right back in the rankings. If you guys don't know, Ricky's only losses are to ranked Vinicius Oliveira, top 10 Mario Bautista, top 10 Yadong Song, top 10 Rob Font, former title challenger Uriah Faber, with wins over Marab, with wins over Montel Jackson, with wins over Javid Basharat. He's a legit dude. He's losing to really good guys, and he's beating some really, really good guys. So, fight away. Fight away from the rankings again. Ange Loosa, Phil Rowe, a lot of wrestling from Ange, a lot of striking from Phil, a lot of holding from Ange, a lot of punching from Phil. 2 rounds up, Ange Loosa. Phil Rowe goes out in round 3. He's looking good. He's physically fit. He's got the energy. Ange is fading. He's on the back foot. He's like, I gotta win this. I gotta win this fight. I don't have to win this round, but I gotta survive and win this fight on the scorecards. Phil's like, we ain't going to the scorecards. I'm going to lose if it goes to the scorecards. So he's pressuring. He's landing hooks. He's coming forward. Ange is shooting takedowns. Phil's defending. He's throwing more punches. Then he gets him to the clinch. Grabs Ange Loosa's head. Holds it onto the cage. And pop. Right hand. And Ange Loosa is so exhausted. And he's just getting smacked in the face over and over again. Not by massive shots, by cumulative damage of Phil Rowe, and he just is so exhausted at the same time, getting punched and battered, that he collapsed onto his fours and head down on the canvas. Phil, I don't even think, landed a ground and pound shot, and Phil Rowe was awarded the winner by TKO as the ref stopped the fight. What an amazing comeback, though. What an amazing comeback. Round 1 was clear Ange. Phil could have won round 2. Lost it. Made some mistakes in there, but came back and looked like a dog. Jamie Lynn Horth, Vanessa Nemopoulos, fun back and forth fight. Not really back and forth, but a banger. Jamie landed a lot of punches. Vanessa was just coming forward and eating a lot of punches. It was a fun one for sure. In the UFC flyweight division. But, the size of it was so apparent. This is a former bantamweight and a strawweight on short notice. You could kind of guess how it would go, and it went exactly how I thought it would. So, not a bad card. A few solid knockouts, some great up-and-comers to look at. Jose Ochoa, Malcolm Wellmaker, Mansour Abdul Malik, Edmund Shabazian. Everybody says he's not an up-and-comer. He's 27 years old. He's fought in the UFC for so long, and everybody thinks, oh, he's a veteran. He's 33 years old. 27 years old. Brad Tavares, by finish. Delchalun Jambula finish. AJ Dobson finish. Dylan Budka finish. This is his first decision win in the UFC since his UFC debut. Crazy. Only lost to Brunson, former top 5. Jack Hermanson, former top 10. Nasser Nimavov, number 1. Anthony Hernandez, top 10. Gerald Mershart. And these are the guys he's losing to. Not beating amazing competition. Andre Petroski is probably his best win since Brad Tavares, but, he's improving. 27 years old. He's getting better and better. So, great card. Would hope there would be more finishes than this. I thought there was opportunities in the Garbrandt fight for the finish. Obviously, Mansour had that iffiness in there. What's another one I thought could have been a finish? Jamie Lynn Horth, if she just went ham, maybe. Rodolfo and Paul, if it wasn't a no contest, that could have been a finish as well. So could have been better with a little bit more finishing, but still a good card. We look on. These are the fights to make next. We're going to make a video on that one tomorrow. We had Raoni Barcelos call out Rob Font to fight next. He's not going to get that fight. That's crazy. Font's coming off a win. Why would he fight an unranked Raoni Barcelos? Doesn't make any sense. We're going to give you who I think Raoni should fight next instead of Rob Font. A crazy call out, Raoni. I looked at this stat. Manel Kape has 11 UFC fights that have been canceled. And he has 20 fights that have been booked. He's only fought 9 UFC fights. 11 other fights have been canceled. Insane stat that only 2 of those were his fault. Crazy. Crazy. He has more UFC cancellations than he does UFC fights. And 9 of them aren't even his faults. Insane. Insane. Petr Yan revealed he could have actually waited for a title shot. Crazy. Petr Yan explains why he accepted a fight against number 13, Marcus McGee in Abu Dhabi. He says, and I quote, "I was told that I can wait and I'll be next in line for the title, but I don't want to wait. And I don't want to be an inactive fighter. I want to fight twice this year if possible. I just wanted to fight in July and they found me an opponent and I'm ready." So he literally said he could have gotten a title shot. He would have gotten a title shot, but said, no, I don't want that. I want to fight now. I want to fight in July. If it's not for the title, I don't care. Give me anybody. So they gave him number 13, Marcus McGee. Respect for Petr Yan. Insane. And then we did have Charles Oliveira again saying he thought his Arman Tsarukyan fight was a robbery. This is ahead of his upcoming title fight with Ilia Topuria. Last but not least, we do have Joel Alvarez confirming his move to the UFC welterweight division will happen in September or October. There was rumors floating around that Grant Dawson was posting saying that he was going to fight Joel Alvarez in August. Let's see if I can find it, if it's still up. He might have deleted it. I think he deleted it. But Grant Dawson posted that he was fighting Joel Alvarez in August. That fight is no longer happening. Grant got the offer. He said yes. Joel said no, I'm going to the UFC welterweight division. So none of that is going to happen. In other smaller news, like we talked about, the torn ACL in round 2 for Moran the Maverick. But we got some good fights here. Edson Barboza, Drakkar Klose in the UFC lightweight division. UFC 319 is in the works. Edson Barboza is being talked about for UFC 319 to face Drakkar Klose in August. There's rumors coming out a few weeks ago about this fight. Drakkar Klose confirms that, yes, I will accept this fight. Let's run it if the UFC gives me a new contract and some more money. So it's not official. It's not signed. Drakkar still wants a new UFC contract, and this fight will be on the August card if all of that does come through. Peyton Talbot, Felipe Lima. Felipe Lima originally supposed to fight Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan got injured, so they call Peyton Talbot up. Peyton Talbot also supposed to fight at 317. Felipe Lima and Peyton supposed to fight at 317 versus different opponents. Both of their opponents can fight, so they just put them together. Felipe Lima, Peyton Talbot, UFC 317. Sam Patterson telling us he wants to fight in UFC Paris. Originally, he wanted on the July Abu Dhabi card. Didn't get any offers, so he's going, I guess I'll wait for September and fight in Paris instead. Kevin Vallejos reveals he's got fight news coming soon. He said, nobody wants to fight me a few days ago. Then he says, I got one. And I think people are going to like it. So he thinks he's going to have a really good fight. Next, Chris Duncan, fight news coming soon, August 2nd. He's got another fight coming out on August 2nd. I don't know who he's going to fight, but that's in the UFC Apex. So we'll see who the opponent turns out to be. Andreas Gustafsson is not. He wants to fight in UFC Paris. He will be fighting in UFC Paris. The UFC and Sean Shelby called him up, and they told him they want you on UFC Paris following his UFC debut. 1-0 in the UFC now, dominated Chaos Williams. He was planning the fight later on in the year, November, December time frame. UFC wanted him on Paris, so he said, all right, I'll fight on Paris. So no opponent yet. they're just basically telling Andreas they're going to get him on the UFC Paris fight card. Another welterweight fight, Jacoby Smith taking on Nico Price at International Fight Week. UFC 317 as well. A lot of fights being added to UFC 317. One more we're going to talk about. Jacoby's been wanting to fight, wanting to stay active, take short notice fights, but hasn't been able to do so. And he's going to be fighting UFC veteran Nico Price. That is it for MMA 2 news. Then we do have the other UFC 317 fight. We had a cancellation. Justin Tafa out. And a new opponent, 7-0. LFA fighter, Guzzi Hines, Alvin Hines stepping in. He's got a lot of finishes. Very, very good. I've watched him on the regional scene. He looks very solid. 7-0, undefeated. I believe 32, 33 years old. Taking on Janata Deniz on short notice, International Fight Week. We'll see what he has in his UFC debut. Last but not least, we do have Ismael Bonfim revealing he's going to be moving down to the featherweight division, allegedly. We don't know for sure. He's just kind of teasing it. He's saying 70.8 kilograms. That means lightweight. And he says loading 66.4 kilograms, which is featherweight. So it seems like he is loading a fight in the featherweight division. Again, not confirmed, but we shall see. That is today's MMA news, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, do all that good stuff. Become a channel member in that pinned comment down below. And we'll see you in the next one.